It all comes down to this here in North America. We got 2 weeks left to go, 6 teams competing for 2 tickets for a trip to the first ever international LAN event in China. Today, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of how these teams performed, but also I'm going to give you my honest opinion on where I think these teams stand with a ranking of who is the most likely to make it to China, and of course at the end, I'll give you my prediction as to who I think is going to advance. If all that sounds good, let's get right into things. So in North America, Stage 1 was fairly eventful, but at the same time, also not as weird as that sounds. On one hand, things were very competitive, but on the other, it happens to be a very top-heavy region. Unlike EMEA where things feel very up in the air, NA feels like it's down to about 4 teams. The only teams in the discussion to potentially make the China LAN in April are SSG, Nightmare, Timeless, and Liquid, as you can see here in the standings. The rest, unfortunately, don't even make the cut or discussion. Amplify and Shikigami sadly face relegation, while Rad and Avidity just don't have the star power to keep up. I, for one, was really hoping to see more out of Rad since I like their roster, but they struggled a lot against the ball comps. It's essentially a 4-team race, and the good news is all of them genuinely have a shot. And after knowing what we went through last year in NA, this feels like a pretty nice change of pace. As you can see through the standings, very competitive stuff, and at the top was Space Station. They right now feel like the best team in the region, and it's because of the fact that they went 6-1 first and foremost, but second only had to go to a map 5 one time. One loss to Team Liquid is all they have, and the rest felt very convincing. Essentially, they are who we thought they were coming into this year. A well-oiled machine, built to dominate the opposition with ease. But one thing's for certain, this team is not unbeatable. NA, in my opinion, is pretty wide open there at the top, and one bad week could be all it takes for suddenly everything to go up in flames. The good news is that SSG definitely hold the cards here. The meta ain't a problem at all, and they've shown the least weakness out of the top 4. We've seen their players make less of the big mistakes across the board. They've shown greater discipline in a motor where every player makes contributions. And considering the superstar caliber players they have at DPS in particular, there's only more danger when it comes to overcoming this foe. They feel like the strongest without a doubt right now, and they're going to be the ones that everybody's trying to beat. As for the other NA partner team, Team Liquid, it hasn't been the same level of success. They've been a bit more up and down. Clearly, they have what it takes to be at the top, as they're the only ones who have pushed and defeated SSG. It's just a matter of sometimes feeling like they're lacking with the preparation. The ceiling is obviously number 1, seeing as what they did against SSG, but the lows are quite concerning at the same time. I've been disappointed just seeing who's on this roster, knowing that they're only 4th place. You'd expect more. When this team is not ready for prime time, the games aren't even close. Getting 3-0'd by stiff competition like Nightmare and Timeless is all the proof you need, and it's not a great look. Do the potential highs of this team outweigh the downsides? That is the big question we have to ask. Are we better off believing in someone that's more consistent, or are these guys going to show up when it matters the most? They understand what's at stake, but the preparation is the thing that ultimately concerns me the most. The vibes of NA are a lot different than last year. You're not just chasing one team, there is some stiff competition at the top. Look at Timeless, look at Nightmare. Both had some genuine questions about how they'd be able to compete with NA partner teams, but they're showing there's not too many major gaps. SSG were a problem for both of these guys, yes, but both of them did defeat Liquid 3-0 at the same time. And you have to have some real optimism about their chances, because at the end of the day, there's 2 spots up for grabs. You don't have to win the finals, you just have to get there. Both have shown significantly more consistency compared to Liquid, while showing off good strengths as a team. Timeless have a lot of the synergy factor going for themselves. Many of these guys played together for a long time already, and it's been a real bright spot against other top teams who are still going through some rough patches. There's been some good harmony with this team, and they feel hungry. Last year's shortcomings have led to a serious chip on their shoulders, and they're playing like a top team now. Chopper and Rocket are still a major strength of this team, but to me, the most impressive part of the roster has definitely been Riker. It was unclear how he do as the solo tank on this roster, and he has surpassed every single expectation I had on him. He's hung in there against fierce competition, and has honest to God been a menace on Wrecking Ball. If Timeless can apply what they learned last year, they really have a shot at making land here. They've shown they can beat one of the partner teams, so that's half the battle right there, and at the very least, they're very evenly matched with Nightmare, so they've got a real shot at this thing. Speaking of Nightmare, they've been the exact kind of threat that I'd hoped they'd be. The idea of them being a top team was not far-fetched at all, and the results speak for themselves. A 6-1 record with only one really bad loss to their names. Nightmare have felt like the most balanced team of the top 4 to me. A lot of stars across the board, and not a lot of weak points. Obviously, they have a good foundation and some good stars to play around thanks to Lethal and Sarah, who have continued to terrorize North America where they picked off from last year, and in my opinion, this might be the best we've seen them play yet. That alone is such a nice foundation to have, 2 clutch playmakers that have shown they can play great in high-pressure environments, but it goes so much further. Kaffa, for example. He's a guy who keeps on showing improvement as a tank. He keeps adding more skills to his repertoire every time you watch him. And how about the backline? Easily one of the most reliable you can ask for, especially Ultraviolet. In my opinion, people are not talking about this guy nearly enough. He's been having a fantastic first stage. Every time I watch him play, I am left in awe, especially when it comes to his Ana. He's playing at a dangerously high level right now, and I'm telling you, if the game comes down to him making the big play, Nightmare have a great chance of making it to China. All 4 of these teams have a real opportunity to make it through, but there can only be 2. If I were to rank the likelihood of these teams making it to China, I'd rank SSG as number 1 in the tier, being my tournament winner, followed by Nightmare at 2 as the runner-up, Liquid at 3, and Timeless at 4. Whether they're first or second, I'd say that SSG are most likely a shoo-in to make it through, just because right now they feel like they are the best team in the region. They've proven to be the most loaded and most consistent. And at the end of the day, it's pretty difficult to go against a sugar-free led team, especially if you're thinking about the last couple of years. This man has been on another level, especially in OWCS. When I watch this guy play, it genuinely feels effortless. Something tells me the playoffs are going to be a breeze for these boys. Where things get significantly more dicey is the 2 spot. Realistically, I think any of these 3 go on through with SSG. It all depends on who's going to show up the next 2 weeks. Based on what I've seen so far, I'd put Nightmare at number 2 right now. Not only do they have the recent evidence of domination against Liquid, but also a win against Timeless, with players who have proven they can handle the pressure in their careers. It's pretty difficult to go against Ultraviolet, Lethal, and Zera, just knowing how they've been performing in big games in their careers. But honestly, the real X factor in this is Liquid, who right now I rank as the number 3 team, but they feel like they should be top 2. From a talent perspective, their upside is incredible. But as we've seen with a certain team from EU, having names doesn't always mean guaranteed success. They've got to lock in here. They've shown that they have top 1 potential. They have it in them to make it happen. But the inconsistency has been a major turnoff. Too much respect, in my opinion, is being shown towards certain opponents, and it's led to some weird, uncharacteristic mistakes in taking their foot off the gas when they know they're the better team. Can they clean it up over the next few weeks, though? That's going to be the real question. And if they do show up, I'd expect them to make it through. But let me tell you, if we see what happened with Nightmare or Timeless, it's curtains. And that leaves me with Timeless at 4. Again, realistically could be 2, but I have the least confidence in these guys. They did almost beat Nightmare, and they've crushed Liquid, but my problem is those games were ages ago. And this core of players has yet to show they can play big with LAN on the line. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm a little worried while their backline is good, that it isn't good enough and that they'll ultimately fall short. On paper, they have the least to offer to me. It's by a slight margin, but that is how I feel about them. For my final predictions, though, I don't exactly know what the bracket is going to look like as of this video. I'm not sure who SSG and Nightmare have for their first round selections respectively, so I don't have like a clear-cut picture to give you, but regardless, I'm sticking with my gut. I have SSG winning the tournament and Team Liquid making their resurgence to join them in China. SSG are the best. They have the most stars, they're the most consistent, they're probably going to win it. The real kicker here is Liquid. The downs are really worrying, but I believe in these guys. They're a better team than Nightmare and Timeless. On paper, they should be. No matter what the results may tell you, this team can go on a tear. We've seen a lot of them have rough moments in their careers just to bounce back when it matters. RuPaul, Vega, and Casores went through it on Toronto last year. Tree and Infected faced similar things on NRG Shock. It's a resilient group of players that perform the best in the big moments, and I'm not going to go against them just because of some growing pains. I'm a major Liquid believer, and damn it, I am not ready to give up on them just yet. Beating Nightmare and Timeless will not be easy, but they can definitely do it. I don't have as much confidence in the other teams to bounce back from adversity like I do with this Liquid team, just knowing the players. To properly apply those experiences and lessons, I feel like Liquid has that over those guys, so I'm going to keep my confidence in them until they give me no other choice. I'm genuinely so pumped for the NA tournament, man. This is the most excited I've been about this region in years. Toronto leaving was like the best thing ever. It is so competitive right now, and for once, I don't feel confident in the final outcome, so I'm excited to see how this mystery unfolds, and I'd love to know what you think as well down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video and you want more Overwatch esports content just like this, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I've been ATP, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.